This is the LG X Power, a late 2016 budget device from LG that is rocking its newer UX and also does have incredible battery life. In this video, we're going to take a look at and review the LG X Power and tell you what it's all about, full in depth, and show you everything you need to know about this device to see if this is going to be the device that you want to pick up at under 150 bucks. With that being said, let's get into it right now. LG X Power full review. Let's go. So let's begin this with the hardware tour of the device. So the LG X Power does have a 1280 by 720 pixel IPS display with 16 million colors here that comes in at a pixels per inch of 277 for the pixels per inch, making this a pretty sharp display, not incredibly sharp however. At the bottom, you're going to find yourself capacitive touch buttons as well as the LG branding at this bottom chin right here. Up at the top, you're going to find yourself an ambient light sensor, a 5 megapixel front facing shooter, as well as a headset for talking on the phone. Now you can see at the bottom we do have a 3.5mm headset jack, micro USB charging, and a microphone hole for talking as well. Now on the left side you're going to find yourself the volume rocker, which is flush to the device. It's a little bit hard to press. At the bottom you're going to find yourself the door for your nano SIM card slot, as well as an expandable storage of up to 128 gigs on the micro USB. And I do want to point out that the LG X Power does have a little bit of a metal ring on both sides of those bezels right there, so it looks pretty nice. At the top of the device, you're going to find yourself another mic port there for talking as well. Over here on the right side, you're going to find yourself a volume rocker on this device. And I do want to mention that this device is only 7.9 millimeters thin. So this is a very thin device, especially seeing that it is packing a huge battery inside. So with that being said, on the back, you're going to find yourself a non-removable battery that has 4100 milliamps here on the device, a 13 megapixel camera if you're on the Europe phone or the unlocked phone, and a Boost Mobile has an 8 megapixel, which is this model right here. Now there is an LG logo right here, which is pretty much on all LGs in the middle of the device. And on the back, you're going to find yourself the speaker grill, which sits at the bottom left of the device, which is a little bit annoying. Now in terms of the specifications, you are going to find yourself a MediaTek MT6755M processor, which is it's an octa-core CPU clocked in at 1.81 gigahertz. You are going to get 2 gigabytes of RAM here and a Mali T860 GPU. So overall, you do have pretty solid specifications in terms of the performance of this device. Now it will vary depending on if you have the Qualcomm 210 model of this device. Now in terms of the display on the LG X Power, I found in my experience that this device did not get that bright, and it was not that sharp. It wasn't tack sharp. It was sharp enough to read text, and everything looked okay because LG's UX font looked pretty good on the device. But even on camera, it looks pretty bright. But here is the viewing angles. Viewing angles are pretty solid. IPS display, so you're not going to have to worry much about distortion on the angles. However, if you're looking for a punchy display, this phone right here is just not going to give you a punchy, pleasing display. It's going to give you a standard, crispy enough display to get your smartphone tasks done, but don't expect it to blow you away with AMOLED or anything like that, because it's just not going to do it on the display. Now, taking a closer look at the software for the LG X Power, this is going to give you Android version 6.0.1 Marshmallow. Now, this is slated to get Android 7.0 Nougat, so if you were wondering about that, I did read an article that said LG is going to push out Nougat to this device as well, so be looking out for that. Although I don't expect that to change the way the software works too much. It does have an LG UX over it, so I don't expect software to change that much. Now, taking a closer look at the notification panel, you're going to find yourself a few features here, such as Capture Plus, Wi-Fi sound, Bluetooth rotation, location, flashlight, and you're going to find yourself airplane mode, sync, and data. Now, you can also customize this menu up here by going into the little pen icon up in the notification tray. So if we go into the pen icon up there, let's swipe that out, and you can see that you do have some other features here, such as color inversion, do not disturb, and reader mode, as well as battery saver. So reader mode is like night shift on Apple's iPhone devices. You can see it'll make your display a little bit more yellow to help you with sleeping at night and not messing up your melatonin levels. But you can see right here brightness, as well as, you know, you can toggle off the brightness setting right there. So that's pretty nice stuff overall. Now, taking a closer look at that Capture Plus mode, you can see I wrote LG X Power here. This is basically like a finger note-taking application, which would probably be better suited with a stylus, but hey, you still got some nice quick notes here to jot down. This used to be called Quick Memo, but now they're calling it Capture Plus. Whatever, it's the same thing here, and it's pretty much been on LG devices for years now. So, and it's pretty useful if you use it quite a bit. Now, I do want to mention that this device does have capacitive buttons. One more time, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I just want to make that known that this device does have capacitive buttons. So no home button here on the LG X Power. Now let's take a little bit of a closer look and more in detailed look at the software for the LG X Power. So you're going to see that you do have a few skinned icons, such as the weather, the phone, but I didn't like that LG didn't put the messaging icon within here, because they just put Google Messaging and Google Photos and no photo apps. So it's kind of like a little bit inconsistent if you ask me. But taking a closer look in the settings, you're going to find yourself networks, you're going to find airplane mode, Wi-Fi, VPN, and let's go over into sound and show you that we do have sound profile here, volume, ringtones, ringtone IDs, do not disturb mode, lock screen, apps, notification LED here. You can vibrate on tap. You have voice notifications, sound effects, and going over into display, let's go into the home screen, and you can see we have quite a few options here, such as wallpaper, LG theming, grid, and yes, this device does have LG Smart World if you want to mess with theming and stuff like that. You do have the swipe effects here for your home screen, so you don't even really need an extra launcher to get some customization on here with the LG X Power. Over here on the lock screen, we do have shortcuts, wallpaper, lock timer, power key instantly locks, and there's also a shortcut that allows you to, you know, touch the left side volume rockers to open the camera or quick memo or Capture Plus really easily from those hardware keys. Also, you can see you can change the, you know, these little icons at the bottom of the navigation bar to make it easier for you to navigate this device if it's too big for your hand, as well as you can change this navigation color bar to a white color, which is essentially going to allow you to make it look a little bit more consistent with the white settings menu. And over here you can change your fonts, and there's many more fonts that you can go ahead and grab from the Google Play Store that will work on this device. So pretty cool that you can change the entire system font. You can change the system text. You have bold text. So they did bring a lot of iOS like features here to the LG's newer UI. So you can see the reader mode right there, and I really do like this LG UI. It's very clean, and it is very simple to use. It might not be the prettiest, but it is very clean and very straightforward, very easy if you ask me, very well laid out here. And you do have applications features as well as backup and reset, developer options. Well, you do need to enable the developer options through the about phone and going into software info, build number, and tap that repeatedly. But overall, that's pretty much the software, like the in detail look at the software. We do have the management here where you can go ahead and manage your memory, battery usage, storage, and stuff like that. And there is pretty good amount of storage on this device right out of the box. I mean, it did come with a healthy amount. So the LG UI doesn't take up a lot of space internally. So you're going to have plenty of room for apps, and you can also expand the storage like I mentioned earlier. So great stuff here on the software if you ask me. Pretty clean, pretty easy to use, and pretty well laid out for the LG X Power. Now that speaker we're going to talk about a little bit down at the left bottom corner is pretty tinny. It didn't sound amazing. It sounded okay. It'll get the job done. You know, pretty much all phone speakers will get the job done, but this speaker is not going to impress you, and it's easy to cover there with your hand if you're holding the phone straight that way and you're not laying it flat down on a desk. But you can see in terms of the performance, this is one strong area of the LG X Power. I mean, things just fly open on this device. Octa-core CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, and a very well optimized software here. This device flies, and this device kept up with the iPhone 5S, or actually it destroyed the 5S. It kept up with the iPhone SE, and even some older flagships it kept up with, beat the LG G4. So this device has pretty respectable performance. I think you will be happy in terms of the performance department, and I didn't find any lags really at all with this device. So it's a pretty good device in performance. I'm not even kidding with you here. You can even play some of your favorite games here on the LG X Power without a hiccup at all, such as Temple Run, one of my favorite games, to be honest with you. And you can play even heavier graphic games as well, but all these casual light games should be no problem for the LG X Power. So if you're wondering about performance on your LG X Power that you might be picking up, this device will suit most of your needs in terms of gaming department with excellent battery life in that gaming. Now even multitasking has proven to not be an issue here with the LG X Power. It did handle multitasking pretty well. It wasn't the best RAM management I've ever seen, but it's still, you can still hop in and out of apps with no, delays or nothing like that. And you can see the phone quality on here was pretty good as well. Not the greatest in the world, but it did have strong enough where I didn't have people complaining about me talking to them. Just the speaker was a little bit of an issue, but overall it sounded pretty good. Now in terms of the dimensions and the size of the LG X Power, I did do a pocket test here. You can see it is a pretty big phone. I got regular dude size jeans, but it did fit in my pocket and it does take up quite a bit of space. So if you're a smaller person, it is going to take up quite a bit of space. You might have to throw this in a bag or a purse, but if you got bigger jeans, this shouldn't be no problem for you. It's a pretty thin phone nonetheless. It might stick out a bit though. So that rear camera is an 8 megapixel for this model. This is the Boost mobile variant. I believe there's a 13 megapixel for the European version, but for this particular model, we're looking at the 8 megapixel model here on the LG X Power. So the front of the device does have a 5 megapixel camera, and we're going to look a closer look at the software before we show you the samples. So here is the software. It's very similar to like what you're going to find on the LG G5, V20, LG G4, LG G3. They're pretty much all the same in terms of the software. Now you do have that simple mode. You have the ability to change your flash, focus points, as well as flip over to the front camera. Hello there, how you doing? And we'll flip back around and you can see on the modes, we do have panorama as well. The only thing about this camera is because this is a budget phone, it does have a little bit less features. So you don't get to tweak the manual video. And you have a little bit less options in terms of, just tweakability, like the aspect ratios and such. But you do get most of what you get on the more flagship devices, such as the cheese shutter, where you can say whiskey, kimchi, and the likes. You do have a timer here, up to 10 seconds here, or you could turn that off. And this is specific to the LG X Power. You do have this film mode, so you can get expressive with your film and like your little monochrome and stuff like that, noir and things like that in your film shots. So that looks pretty cool there nonetheless. But this phone did have a little bit of an issue with focusing. It was very slow to focus, which I did not like about this phone. It could really make you miss a shot if you ask me. So focusing times on this baby were a little bit slow here, but you can shoot in 1080p full HD, which also I didn't think looked that good from my experience. But I am coming from the perspective of using something like the iPhone 6s Plus, which has amazing camera on the rear, as well as the Note 5, so these more premium devices. But for the budget range, this camera is still pretty strong, and I think most people who are buying this device will not have a complaint with the camera. But if you're looking for the camera only solely, this is going to be a problem. But you could see right here, it does have, recording, and you could shoot while you're recording. And overall, that's pretty much the camera software. So let's go ahead and take a look at these samples right here, right now on the LG X Power. Taking a look at the front-facing video quality on the LG X Power, as well as the audio firing directly from the phone itself. It is a bit of a windy day, so there might be some distortion, but this is a pretty cloudy day, and the quality looks pretty good here on the front overall. Let me know what you think down below. We're going to flip it around to the back now. Rear facing video quality on that 8 megapixel camera of the LG X Power. Like I say, audio is firing directly from the phone itself. Here's my dog. Say hello, Peyton. Say hello there. Yeah, but you can see that's basically the video quality you're gonna get. It's a little bit dull in my opinion, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section of this video. Now, in terms of the battery life for the LG X Power, it's no marketing gimmick. If you guys seen this and you're like, no way that battery life is going to be long lasting, or you think that people just say this, like LG is just saying this to get you to buy the phone, they're not kidding. This device is no BS. This device, 5 hours, 30 minutes on screen time, and I still got 38% battery life left here. Yeah, I don't have the SIM card in, but I take it out for the reviews because I don't want nobody bugging me. But this device does get great battery life, no matter if if you have sync on, location on, you're going to get astounding battery life, and you're going to be very impressed in terms of the battery life department on the LG X Power. Now, if you're a light user, this phone could probably go 3 to 4 days. I'm not even kidding you guys. If you're a light user, this phone can really go the distance. So if there was a phone I'm going to take out on traveling and I needed this thing to last over the weekend, I'm bringing the X Power with me, hands down. This is one of the best battery lives I've ever seen in any smartphone, and that is saying quite a lot there, because I've had some pretty great battery life smartphones. But over here, I want to talk about my negatives. So my first negative is the back is plastic. I don't really like this. I think that it's cheap feeling and it's just not suiting my tastes. But hey, it's a cheap device, so that's what's expected. But a lot of cheap devices have nice builds now. But you can see the rear and front cameras on this device are not that good either. This is another negative I have of this device. I didn't really like them. I just thought they're not great for content creation, and they're not even that great for nice posts on social media. They're just not great cameras right here on the LG X Power. But over here, you can see I don't like the display either on this device, and I'm just letting you know my personal negatives. This one did not get that bright, but I will be talking about the positives after this as well. But I gotta let you know what I don't like about this device and what I do like about this device. But overall, the screen was not super impressive on the LG X Power, but it's definitely suitable. Now let's get to the positives. That battery life. I'm sure you heard me talk about it earlier and praise it earlier, but that battery life on this device was incredible. It was outstanding. It was probably, like I say, better than the iPhone SE. Well, for sure better than the iPhone SE, which is one of the best battery lives on the market. And it's better than my favorite of all time, which was the Note 2. And it's just incredible. Performance is another very strong area of this device, and this is another positive. The performance of the LG X Power is just incredible. It's blazing fast for this price point. I've never seen a device at this price point under $100 or even a little bit over $100 with this kind of performance. It's really strong, even better than my ZTE Z Max 2 from last year. So over here, you can see that another positive I like about this device is, even though it was cheap, I thought the design was really well done. I really think it's a classy, clean looking device. So even though it feels kind of cheap, it still looks good. So I kind of let go of it feeling cheap because I just think it looked pretty darn sharp. It looks like a little baby V20 in my opinion. Now, another strong area of the LG X Power is the internal storage. Because the UI is very light and it doesn't take up a lot of internal space, you have plenty of space on here for applications. I think it was something like 9 to 10 gigs out of the box, plus expandable memory, so that's great as well. And another thing I have to mention is price. This device is going to give you an incredible value for the price point. I paid $120, but I've seen it on Amazon for under $100, and I just expect this device to go down as we go forward here in 2017. So very great value here. So is the LG X Power worth your money? Well, if you're somebody looking for a budget device that's going to give you pretty much all the performance you'll ever need, all the battery life you'll ever need, and just a reliable, consistent experience, but you don't care about having the latest and greatest screen, the latest and greatest camera, and just having the most premium device on the planet, you only want to spend $100, this device will suit you just fine. If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, go ahead and click the like button for me, and subscribe to the channel for more technology reviews like this. This was Nick here, helping you master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.